Hello and welcome to another edition of the Girlfriends Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. And right now we're on season 1 of the famous show Girlfriends back in the 2000s. We're going to talk about episode 3 in season 1 because it's a very interesting topic. The episode was called Girlfrenzy and it first aired in September 25th of 2000. I think that's 20 years ago almost. And I wanted to, and I've been once again. Thank you for all the likes and the watches and the spins. I'm overwhelmed by your kindness of wanting to participate in this after show. I have some things planned coming up. Talking to some people from the show to come on, all kinds of stuff. So thank you. But in the meantime, we're doing episode 3, season 1, and I love how it opens. It's so funny because now we're still in the beginning stages of the show, and they're establishing what's going on. They kind of, and it's funny because I've watched the show obviously many times. I own the DVDs, but now I'm watching it as a reviewer, not just as a fan. So I'm catching all kinds of stuff. And you'll notice that throughout the series, I'm gonna always catch things. And in some shows, I'm a content creator, and sometimes you change ideas. Sometimes things get changed that for the better, and so, but there are some things that are established early on that continue throughout the series. And the one thing I love so much is how Joan's house is just open game for all the girls. So I guess they all have keys. Is her house really ever locked? I don't know, but it seems like they just come in and out. The girls all come in and out. And when Joan comes home with Lynn, Tony's in there already, just in there. This makes me laugh. It's just like everybody's come on in. It's kind of fun. You think about it, it's a fantasy thing, but it's kind of fun. And you have the nucleus. Somebody comes to your house and just coming in and out. I know every show needs one of those kind of things. So Tony wants to go out, and it's further established that Tony and Joan and Lynn were friends in college. It's kind of keeps solidifying that these three are friends, and that Maya is kind of the outsider. Maya comes in through Joan because she works for Joan, and they became friends. So Tony has a little bit of rocky relationship with Maya, and that's kind of established then. Also, when Maya shows up, Maya's the one who's married. The other three are single. They want to go out. Maya claims she's been to France. Tony cannot believe this. Her kind of ghetto girl has been to France. Joan, of course, we learned that Darnell's a baggage handler at the airport, so she's like, well, maybe he gets free flights. I think they was thinking the same thing, like how she got there. Maybe they got a trip and she's able to go. But again, you can't judge the book by its cover. And this show always talks about that. Throughout the seasons, we learned that all the girls, in the beginning, are a particular type, but they're not just that type. It does morph throughout the seasons. I also love how the girls have a different look. They all have a different, from Lynn to Tony, they all have a very different look when they go out. It's very cute. Of course, Lynn is being established as the freak, which is a new concept, actually. You really think about it, 20 years ago. First of all, she's a biracial woman on television who's kind of bohemian, but also is sex positive. You didn't really see that. I'm just plain black women. I mean, this show is very sex positive, but it's like to see Lynn be that kind of other, be allowed to be other. That really is groundbreaking. It was played up so much in the show that it was just part of the show. But when you look back on it, it wasn't common anywhere else. So you get points for that. Well, Maya and Tony, each have a place they want to go, Creep or Liquid City. They get into it. Maya claims, okay, I can get you into Liquid City also. And this is a long-running theme that I will talk about in a second. But Joan has one of her talks to the audience moments where she looks off to the side, talks to us. And this one was because they're arguing. This was about, and she makes a comment that's so funny about the timestamp. That's why there'll never be an all-black Real World. I was like, Real World? Oh, I remember Real World. That was still on. And I used to talk about that too all the time, all-black Real World. Getting 7 strangers to live together, all black folks. But Joan's about getting all white friends. And it's kind of this funny sequence, like, oh my God, these different white actresses play the friends. And she's like, no. So they get to Liquid City, and it's packed, it's happening, it's hot, it's LA. William shows up, of course. They figure out, William gets in there somewhere. Tony tried to get in, but couldn't get in. So her looks on that didn't work. And William knows the bouncer. He's been working his courage up to the bouncer. It's kind of funny. And the bouncer let him in, but says no because of Tony. So then Maya and the other girls show up. And it's first established, another running gag on the show, is that Maya has cousins everywhere. We all like, my cousin, we have cousins, I'm related to this person. The cousin thing is really funny. And so she's cousin to the bouncer, Troy. And so he lets them in, except for, she totally doesn't let Tony in. Joan begs. It's like, come on, Tony, let her in. The bouncer says, okay, points, and this other chick walks up at the same time Tony does, and they totally get into it. Now, here's the part that's really interesting, because they get into a huge fight, huge girl fight, but Joan doesn't join in. Joan tries to stop it. Joan is like screaming. The other girls are all fighting. Davis comes out later and makes a whole point of, I was hoping it wasn't black women fighting in front of these white folks, and that's kind of the theme of the episode. And it's the thing about black folks, you always want this, do you while out in front of white folks to give them something else to talk about, right? Like, we always have to censor ourselves in terms of how we act in public. Just for a half-hour sitcom, the way they did it, it was so effortless. Kudos to the writers. It was so effortless that it just was like, what do you think about it? It's a really big deal, though. But the best line of the whole show is when Tony goes to Joan, and it's just really upset that she didn't help her out. And she's like, even Maya had my back, and they don't even get along that well. Joan defends herself that we shouldn't fight, that women shouldn't fight in front of white folks, the whole thing there. And Tony says, but I'm your best friend. I was getting my ass kicked. Joan says another excuse, but I'm your best friend, and I was getting my ass kicked. And she has another excuse. And I mean, and she just walks off the third time she says it. I'm like, that's the point for you guys out there. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if it's your best friend, do you eschew whatever you think should happen and just be there for your best friend? Or was Joan correct in not jumping into the fight? Later, Tony shows up, and her and Maya have like this kind of fun, nice, sweet moment. So they're working towards a friendship, and they kind of acknowledge that they were there for each other, and it was good. But she still doesn't believe Maya went to France, and Maya speaks French to her, and she still doesn't get it. Joan is eating alone at 847, the restaurant, of course, that Davis owns. And Davis tells kind of the men's side that women can't fight because they can't handle it. Men can fight, and they get back to, they fight, go back to what they're doing, fight, go back to what they're doing, they can handle it. It's kind of funny. But he also flirts with her, which sets up for some later stuff. I didn't realize how much this Davis stuff, I was watching later episodes when they had kind of the kiss and stuff later. I was like, oh, there was always something there. It just kind of was slowly brewing. The other girls walk in. And it's a funny moment where Joan walks over and she's like, you can have Lynn, but Maya's through me, and grabs Maya. And then later, Joan and Tony talk. And it turns out it's a deeper thing, which most things are. And this happens in friendships, and I've had this before. Tony's a little jealous. She feels a little put out because suddenly Joan is taken care of. She's known Tony the longest. She's known Joan the longest. So she feels bad because now she's taking care of Lynn. She's added Maya to the mix. So she just feels like she's being pushed aside. And Joan finally realizes that that's what's going on. She's kind of shocked. And she's like, no. And she actually asks, why are we friends? Because I think some people in the series probably thought the same thing, like, why are Tony and Joan friends? And you see later when they start fighting, more stuff comes out. But you're kind of like, why are they friends? They seem diametrically different. And Tony says something, Joan says something that's really honest. Like, we know since the fifth grade. I don't know why. We just are. We're just friends. Then she has a funny line at the end. She says, you're the bitch I've always wanted to be. And that was kind of cool. That was good. But there's so many, I mean, in this episode, there are so many themes, and mostly about friendship. And what do you do for your friends? And then also, as you guys move and change and get other friendships and other things go on, how that affects your original friendship. And do you get jealous? Do you not get jealous? Do you feel sad? Life changes. And I think I'm watching these shows again. I'm going, wow, these shows are really ahead of their time in terms of showing Black women like other women on television. They're allowed to be complex. That's what's so great about this. So that was episode 3, season 1. You can watch it on CWC. You can the DVDs are out. They're not expensive. We got DVDs for season 1. They're not expensive. So I suggest if you've already you haven't watched it in a while, go back and watch the episode, then watch the after show and see if you agree with me. If you have watched it, comment. Let me know what you think, what I'm saying. If you agree with me, don't agree with me, if you have some other takes on this. I want to hear from the women, the Black women out there, of course. What do you think about what I'm saying on the show? This is because it's just so, I just love the show so much. You can follow us on YouTube at JLJ Media. And then, of course, Girlfriends is on every streaming service now, I believe. Let me get my little list out because I've been trying to apply for stuff. So I want to make sure I can tell you where to find it. Spotify, Google, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSavon, Apple, and Castbox. I'm waiting for iHeartRadio. So I think it's the only one that's left. Waiting for that one to come through. But these are, you can find them there. Follow it, like it, subscribe it, whatever, so I can see you and you can know when new episodes come out. New episodes come out. Right now, they're coming out every Saturday. So Saturdays are new Girlfriends episodes. If there are any Girlfriend specials, which may happen, follow us so you can find out when they happen. It may be a special episode, a special thing, but Saturdays are the new Girlfriends after show day. New episodes. I'm James Lott Jr. Thanks for watching and see you next time.